Welcome back to Summon Tesla. Today I want to talk a little bit about, well, why the media hates Tesla. Why is all the media kind of going nuts on giving a lot of information about Tesla that actually ends up being false? This morning I am actually out here. I'm going to show you guys this. I am actually just parked my car and chilling out, relaxing. It's a beautiful day. The sun is just coming up, and you know what? I'm chilling out, man. I'm chilling out. That being said, I figured today I'm going to talk a little bit about, it's very early morning. I'm going to talk a little bit about the media and how the media kind of sees Tesla and what it is, what specifically makes them hate Tesla so much. If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. If not, welcome back. I think one of the key things that really gets to me is it has to do with how Teslas are being approached. Tesla as a company, Tesla cars are being approached by pretty much everybody in the media. How they talk about the company, how they talk about the cars, how they talk about all these things that really influences, I guess, the mass market, right? The consumer ultimately is the one paying the price here because they're getting a lot of misinformation. And yesterday I talked a little bit at least about, how the media portrayed the whole incident with regards to a pretty fiery crash. They talked about it took like 4 hours apparently to put the fire out, which the fire chief said like 2 to 3 minutes, stuff like this. But the truth of the matter is, every time there's anything in media, and I mean anything, with regards to Tesla, it's always negative, and it's not negative in a simplistic kind of, cheeky way. It's negative in a very, very intense way. They go out of their way to talk about Tesla as if, this is the worst company ever. The truth of the matter is, when it comes to Tesla, I think there are some key reasons. Number one, obviously, has to do with financial. Financial news is probably the worst at this. They completely misunderstand what Tesla is all about. They completely misunderstand what Tesla is as a company, what Elon is trying to do, what most people try and explain to them. And listen, it's not like this. It's like this. The problem with media is obviously they are looking for, well, like any company, they look for money, right? Tesla doesn't advertise, so they don't really care what they say about Tesla. As long as the word Tesla is in a title of any article or any news, it instantly gets some kind of an attention. This is bad though, because obviously this is money before fact. Listen, it's a business. I do understand that aspect. And with Tesla not advertising, obviously if someone else advertises, they're gonna take that company's side. It's just kind of how business works. But when it comes to media, this is very, very bad. This is horrible, in fact, because media can influence a company's standings as far as the stock market, the company standings as far as the perception of the public and how the public perceives Tesla. So you can in effect, you're actually taking, what the media is doing is they're influencing the stock market and they're influencing you as the consumer. And when you get a company or companies, in this case, especially with media, when you get them to do that kind of stuff, it becomes a very, very bad thing for everyone. But the biggest question is why? Why is it that Tesla itself is being targeted so much? I think it has a lot to do specifically with, advertising, right? Tesla doesn't advertise, hence they don't really make any money off of Tesla, hence it's kind of their way of doing this. The second thing is advertising. As far as getting advertising dollars from a competitor, for example, they're obviously not going to put Tesla in a great light when the competitors are all funding these news stations or any type of media for that matter. But then, of course, there's also Tesla as a entity. And as Tesla is, most of you by now know, Tesla is growing at an exponential rate. It's unbelievable at the pace that Tesla has been growing. it hasn't been the greatest company. Of course, it's when any company, when they're starting out, there are going to be a lot of mistakes. There's going to be a lot of problems. And this is where you can look at it in two ways. And this is what media is not doing. Media is looking strictly at the negatives. They don't really care about the positives. But you can look at it in two ways. You can look at the negative side all the time and kind of dwell on it. Or you can look at the positive side. And of course, show all the wonderful things that the company is doing. Realistically, media should not care about either or. They should just be reporting on facts. Example being, if let's say Tesla does great in one quarter, they can talk about it. Does, horrible on the next quarter, they can talk about that. But when it comes to, I think, when it comes to facts, you keep hearing about this thing about, every single time a Tesla, there's any accident. It doesn't matter if it was, it really doesn't matter what it was. If it's an accident, it makes front page news all the time. And the reason it makes front page news is because this is a very popular company, by market cap, one of the largest, if not the largest at this point. And so it brings a lot of attention to itself. But with such a popular company, and such a different company, and I think the word here is different. I think that's the one that really we need to focus on. Tesla is a different company. It's not like everyone else. It's all electric. Yes, it has a lot of batteries. Yes, it's very, very different from the traditional vehicles that everybody is used to. It's one of the reasons I believe you don't hear about any other car crash that ends up being a fiery blaze at all. In fact, if you look at, and I'm going to leave this up to you guys, go onto Google and just search, and this is just so that I don't, come across as giving you guys misinformation. But so you do your own research, go online and look for the same day that Tesla crashes happened, and at the same time, find out how many more crashes happened, with your traditional cars. And it's amazing how much there's literally almost no information on every other vehicle, every other manufacturer crashing, burning up, causing massive chaos. In fact, even recalls these days are they're not being talked about, right? Recently, there's been a number of people, for example, complaining, and this has become I don't have confirmation, so I don't even want to talk about it, actually. I don't like to talk about stuff that's not actual facts. Anyway, that being said, when it comes to mass media, it is up to you to decide what you hear and how much you believe. It's it's not a secret that media itself has been basically at this point messing around with misinformation. It's not. I mean, it doesn't take much for you to figure this out. It's pretty darn easy, in fact, to find the information of how bad mass media has been. And when it comes to Tesla, it has been unbelievable. I cannot believe it's a personal attack. And I almost want to say I would love to see Elon just go after a lot of these media outlets, especially those who are writing the articles, and say, listen, you guys can't keep doing this, because this is defamation. This is false information. This is affecting market cap. This is affecting the value of the company. This is affecting the consumer's perspective of the company. There's just so many things that media hasn't, I don't want to see an influence over, because frankly, they have zero influence on me. Every time I see anything on the media, I might as well be watching a cartoon, because they act like a bunch of cartoon characters. And this is not to say that the reporters themselves, the anchors, for example, they have to read off a teleprompter. That's their job. That's what they have to do. It's the writers behind the story. It's the editors. It's the people behind the people who are really not doing their due diligence, or they absolutely are horrible at their jobs, or more importantly, it's a question of advertising money. And being a business, I'm guessing this has a lot more to do with advertiser money. It's sad to see it. It sucks. But I think everybody needs to realize at this point, if you hear anything on the news, I almost feel like you should go almost opposite of that. I made yesterday's video, I mentioned that I still, and I'm still sticking by it. If you are working for a news station or any type of news outlet and you want to write an article, you want to write something on Tesla, you're more than welcome to contact me, summontesla@gmail.com. Contact any other Tesla owner direct, and talk to the owners directly, because frankly, you need to learn what these cars are capable of, what they are doing, how they're doing things, why accidents happen, because accidents happen every single day with every single car. In fact, really, any day that I'm going out, all you have to do is watch the news in the morning and you'll see that there's gridlocks everywhere. And they're not specifying which car it is unless it's a Tesla. And this is something I find absolutely hilarious. Like, you'll have the morning traffic report and they'll go to the extent of saying, there's a Tesla, there's the Tesla blew a tire and he's holding up traffic, and that. Of course, it doesn't matter if it's not a Tesla. They will not mention the name of the manufacturer or what kind of car it is. They'll just simply say there's a vehicle on the road that has a flat tire, it's causing this backup, unless it's a Tesla, in which case they will just say it's a Tesla. I think we as consumers need to start holding companies responsible for their actions. It's a must. It really is a must, because advertisers is one thing, but news and media outlets, these people have influence on generations, both young and old. And misinformation is absolutely deadly. It can cause massive companies to fail. It can cause horrible companies to succeed, and even worse, ultimately, as somebody who's reporting something, if you give misinformation, you are potentially, and I say this very clearly, potentially putting your audience at risk if you don't know what you're talking about. It's horrible. It is absolutely horrible. And then you got a lot of issues here, because nobody's holding anybody responsible for anything these days, unless it's something pretty silly. But for anything serious, media has not been held responsible for their actions. And I think the time has come that mass media, the people who have such a high influence, need to be held responsible for their actions. What they're saying, what they're reporting is very, very impactful. And if we don't start doing something about this is going to get out of hand to the point where most of us already know media is a joke. Mass media is a joke. It is. But we need to get to the point now where if we don't do something about this, we will eventually, well, I guess the best way to say it is, we won't have news. We won't have world information at our fingertips anymore, because nobody would trust anything coming out of these corporations, these massive media corporations. Everything they're saying is going to be taken as a joke. Information is important, people. The more information you have, the smarter you get. But when it's false information, you just get dumber. All right. That's what I have for you guys today. I'll catch you on the next video. Till then, do me a favor, drive safe, and catch you on the next video. See ya.